Alright, so this is the final little video for today. I did want to go over this last night. So I sort of did go over this once before, but I just thought it would be a very good idea to go through it one more time for you. And that is packaging. And I'm going to start off by unlocking my tracing layer, hiding my drawing layer, and I'm going to select everything on my tracing layer. And I'm going to go to the object menu, I'm going to go to effects, and I'm going to go to transparency. And I'm going to set the opacity level back up to 100% and hit OK. So now you can see, close this off, come into my pages, and now you can see, I'll deselect this. Now you can see there's everything showing on page. Let's go to the view menu and let's go to preview. There we go. And there's page 1. Here's page 2 and 3. Center it so you can see it. Okay. And there's page 4, and page 4 for some odd reason I guess I didn't get. Let's go into the layers and check that out and see what's the story here. Alright, so there it is, and it is object, effects, transparency, and that's still, I don't know why I didn't undo that one, but let's undo it. There we go. Hit OK. And then I am going to hide, let's see what's going on with this. Still not right. What's going on with this thing? Rectangle. That's the problem right there. Let's see if I can select that. And let's go object, effects, transparency. Let's bring that back up to 100% and hit OK. Let's see what's happening with this. This little thing is part of that. No, let me see. Rectangle. Alright, so there it is. This has got to move up then a little bit. I guess that's what it is. Let me just bring this up to about here. And let me bring this down a little bit, just so it looks a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Okay, so there we have it. I still got some weirdness going on in the background here. So let's go file. This never fails. I do this and I have a problem. Each time I have a problem. So let's go to the view menu and let's go, or sorry, object menu, and let's go effects, transparency, 100%. It is 100%. What's going on with this thing? Or you know what? I don't really care. This is all baloney. I'm really not worried about this in the end. I'm really going to show you how to fix this or set this out, send this out as a packaged file. So the whole thing is basically correct. We'll worry about that back later. It's not a big deal. So you're just going to go up to the file menu and you're going to come down and you're going to go to package. All right. You don't need to do anything other than that. Just go to package. What happens right away is you get the package dialog box, and there are two areas. One area over here shows the details, and over here are your list of different elements that you might want to be looking at. So for instance, you have fonts. If I were to check on fonts, this shows you all about the fonts. If I come over to links and images, this shows you all about the links or images, and colors and inks, okay, are here. But what I generally do is I generally just use the summary, and I'll tell you why. Because the summary tells you everything you need to know. If I look at fonts, it tells me that I've used 10 fonts right there. There are none missing. 2 of them are embedded, which is not a bad thing. 0 of them are incomplete, and 0 are protected. Notice that there's no little triangle over here. So that sort of tells me right away that my fonts are in good shape. I got no problems. But when I come to the second line, links and images, 11 found, I notice that there's this triangle with the exclamation point. That's basically a cue. And we talked about this last night in the live sessions. What it's telling me is that, and this is the program being very intelligent, it's telling me that 4 of my images are in the wrong color space. 4 images use RGB color space. And it knows that I shouldn't be using RGB color. I should be using CMYK color. So it's telling me this. So that's why I'm saying the summary works really good for you. I've got 11 links found, 0 have been modified, 0 are missing, 0 are inaccessible, 0 are embedded. So all that's in good shape. 4 of them use RGB color. So that is something that I'm going to want to fix. there's two ways that it can be fixed, and I'm going to show you both, but I'm going to explain first what they are. The first thing, well, there's three ways. The first way to fix them is to do what I said to do in the lesson last night, and that is to look at every single picture that you're working with in Photoshop and check the color space in Photoshop, just as I showed how to do. And if you do that, you'll see the pictures that come up are in RGB, and then you'll just switch them to CMYK. And then in the end, when you get here, you won't have this problem. The other way that you could do this is you could cancel out of Package, and I'm going to do that in a minute, and you can go to the Links panel. And you can use the Links panel to open the images up in Photoshop, make the changes, save them and update them, and you can fix them that way. So that's the second way. The third way is to go through the packaging process and compile a folder with all the images in it, and then in the end go in and open them up in Photoshop, modify them, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to show you how to do both of those ways right now, by first coming in and hitting cancel and coming to the Links panel. And I happen to know that the offenders are these guys right here. Okay, these pictures are the offenders. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the first one, and we'll see what's happening with it. I'm going to come up, this is the Links panel. This is the drop down menu. I'm going to come down to Edit With, and I'm going to choose Photoshop. Now it's going to open Photoshop, and it's going to take a minute to do that. So just bear with me for a second. If I was better prepared, I would have had this open and waiting, but it doesn't matter. We'll get there. So when it opens up, it's going to open that picture up, and I'm going to take a look at the file format, what the color mode. I'm sorry, not the file format, the color mode. I'm going to look at what the color mode is, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be one of the offenders, and I'm just going to switch it. There we go. Now when it opens up, and it's still in the process, give it a second. It can be a little bit slow. Now what this is doing is this is opening this up with a connection to InDesign. So it will actually, okay, so here you see, look, it's RGB. So all I'm going to do is go up to the image mode and change it from RGB to CMYK. And again, I talked about this. Don't worry about it for now. This is just a quick demonstration. Hit OK. Now look, it's CMYK. That's what we want. I hit close. Do I want to save changes? Of course I do. I choose yes. And now it's done. Go back to InDesign, and that's soup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose sandwich. I'm going to do one more of these so that you really understand. So I've selected sandwich. I'm pretty sure this is one of the offenders as well. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to Edit With Photoshop. And there it is. And look up there, RGB. So you see it is one of the offenders. So this is one way to do it. This is the second way to do it. This is if you didn't do it in the first place. Image, mode, and go to CMYK, and ignore this for the time being and hit OK. It is now CMYK. I close this thing, save changes, yes, and that's done. Now, what I'm going to do is, I still have a couple more here to do. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go File, Package. I'll show you the other way to do it. Go File, Package, and whoops, I hit the wrong one. I knew I did. File, Package. There we go. Okay. Look, to use RGB space. So remember, it was originally 4. They have been corrected. There's 2 that still use RGB space. So I'm going to go Package, and the file must be saved for the package. It's packaging. I get this. I'm just gonna call this menu, MENU. Okay, all this information I spoke to you about, it's in basic information you put in. One of the most important things is some instructions, and an email, and a phone number, and your name. Those are the things that are most important on this. So I hit continue, and now I'm going to set this on my desktop, and I'm just going to call that menu package, P-A-C-K-A-G-E, menu package, and hit package. Oh, by the way, what it's doing is it's copying the fonts, it's copying linked graphics, and it's updating graphic links in the package. What does that mean? Updating links graphic links in package means essentially it's creating a duplicate document inside the folder with links to the resources that are in the folders of the graphics and the fonts. So it's actually creating a new document, linking to the folder, and that is why I was saying to you last night, in the end, when you're done with this project, you will create a packaged folder. This is what you'll store off-site on your drive for future reference if you need to bring it back and do work with it. And this is also the same thing that you're going to be sending to your printer. Okay, so I'm going to hit package. It's warning me about the fonts. Don't worry about that. And now it's packaging my document. And soon it'll be done. All right, and now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find my folder. Here it is, menu package, and I'm going to open it up, and you can see that it even produced for me an Adobe Acrobat document. But there's my menu right there, and there's my document fonts, and there are my links. So if you look at the links, they look exactly like the links that I was using at the beginning of the lesson. I showed you the links. That's what I used in this, and that's what you're seeing. All right, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to Photoshop, and I'm going to go File, Open, and I'm going to come into my desktop. Let me go to my desktop, find my folder. It's the menu package. Let's see if it menu package right there. Let's go to links, which are my images. Now I believe that I did the soup and I did the sandwich. So I have the pasta, the pizza. There's two of them. I'm going to do them all. So I'm going to open up the pasta first. Hit open. That's in CMYK, so I can leave that alone. Okay. Now I'm going to go File, Open again, and I'm going to go Pizza 1, Open. That's in CMYK. I leave that alone. And File, Open. And I go to Pizza 1 over here. That's in RGB. Image. Mode. CMYK. Hit OK. And close it. Yes. File, Open. And I believe it's Pizza 2. I don't think I changed that. And correct. Image. Mode. CMYK, OK, close it, yes, there you go. That's all there is to it. Now there is your packaged file. This is the file that you're going to zip and send to me. So I would zip this thing by just right-clicking it, send to compressed zip folder. And there's my zip folder. That's what you're going to submit to me. If I was the printer, you'd submit that to me as well. This folder right here is theoretically a correct, completely done file. And what you would do with that is you would save that for future reference. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching.